Hello folks, I'm back again now. And we're ready for case 7. I almost forgot that today is the case. Beastly behavior. I was about to take a shower and then that's when I realized it. 7779, Matthew. Here it is. 81 Rue Courtois. This is the apartment that the empty animal crate at the Popotin Rouge was sent from. This means there's a high chance that the property's linked to the animal smuggling racket happening in Montmartre. We've got to check it out. Gun at the ready, Matthew? Then let's bust into the apartment. Done it. Honestly, my head has been really elsewhere lately. I missed my first assignment for my new semester. It's totally my fault on that one. That guy on the floor's got a huge gash on his chest and no pulse. Looks like he was stabbed to death. He had his ID in his pocket. Jackson Peacock, American. It says online that Peacock was sent to prison in the US for the illegal trafficking of baby pandas and was only recently released. I don't see any signs of animals being kept here, but with that kind of sordid past, there's a high chance Peacock's involved in the smuggling. Finding his killer might tell us more about what's going on. Great, you've already picked up some clues, Matthew, including this bracelet. Let's recover the name engraved on it. And we'd better tape up this torn drawing. Okay. Now I got some work to do, so sit tight, everybody. Alright, I got 10 stars. Got all 5 stars in the first crime scene. Basically. This looks like a caricature of our victim, Matthew. It's signed Lila Rangwala. She must be the artist who drew him. Oh, I remember reading in my guidebook that there's a famous square in Montmartre full of artists. It's called La Place du Théâtre. Montmartre used to be the stomping ground for famous painters like Vincent van Gogh and Picasso, so it's no wonder they have a place like this. Anyway, enough of the history lesson, Matthew. I'll bet Miss Rangwala works at this square. Let's go speak to her. Bonjour, good looking. Come on over here and have your portrait taken by the best caricature artist in Montmartre. Sorry, ma'am, but we're actually here on police business. A man named Jackson Peacock was found murdered earlier today. Recognize him? Oh, yes, Monsieur Peacock. I drew him only this morning. He's been murdered? Quite a grumpy fella. Still, he gave me a big tip, so all is forgiven. I'm sorry he's dead. Miss Rangwala, if you say Mr. Peacock was here this morning, then General Matthew and I will need to make a sweep of the square. Please step aside. Should definitely have started earlier, but unfortunately I kind of forgot. Of course, last night was not so good for me. I made my dinner, but unfortunately I only had a little bit of it because of a headache that was affecting my stomach. Got it. Look, Matthew, this faded poster's got the victim's name on it. Let's recover the rest of what it says. And this must be Peacock's briefcase. His initials are on it. We better rifle through the contents for clues. Get this bracelet out of the way first. H. Stacy. The name engraved onto this bracelet's H. Stacy, as in Howard Stacy, the CEO of Stacy's department store? We last met the American magnate at the Chior fashion show, and now we find evidence he's been in an apartment linked to animal smuggling and murder. Stacy has some questions to answer, Matthew. Let's pay him a visit. Mr. Stacy, care to explain how your bracelet ended up at the scene of a murder in an apartment in Montmartre? Ah, you must be referring to 81 Rue Courteau. I've been renting it while this pied-à-terre of mine was getting fixed up. I must have dropped my bracelet there during the move. But wait, you're saying someone was murdered in the apartment? Who? An American by the name of Jackson Peacock. We believe he may have been embroiled in an animal trafficking racket. Never heard of the man, but sounds like he was a nasty piece of work. Anyway, thanks for returning the bracelet to me. I must be off now. Got a business to run and all that. The poster says Father Pouce welcomes the following new members to the Blessed Congregation at the Sacré-Cœur. So, our victim was a churchgoer, Matthew, and a famous Parisian landmark, no less. Let's see if this Father Puss from the Sacré-Cœur can tell us anything more about it. Welcome to Sacré-Cœur, my dears, and may the Lord bless your souls with gay abandon. How can I be of service on this wonderfully sun-kissed day? I'm afraid what we're about to tell you may put a damper on your day, Jackson. Jackson Peacock, a member of your congregation, has been murdered, and we're trying to find his killer. Oh, but this tragic news darkens my heart. Did you know the victim well, Father? I'd only met the man recently. I remember he was a rather boisterous foreigner who sang all the hymns out of tune. But we are all children of the Lord, and He loves us equally. May Jackson Peacock rest in peace. There's something written on this napkin from the victim's briefcase, Matthew. It says, "Time's up for you, heartless Jackson." Knowing that Peacock was stabbed to the heart, this message must be a threat sent to him from the killer. Let's get the napkin to Enzo. And I'll see you guys when these two are done. And we returned. Let's get the results of the napkin first. Hey Carrie, how have you been enjoying La Cuisine Française so far? Hugo's been making me try everything from snails to coq au vin. And it's all been super delicious. And don't even get me started on the desserts. Alors, you like French food, so it seems does your killer. Let me explain. I found grease stains on the napkin on which the killer wrote their threat to your victim. These stains followed the exact pattern that the killer's hand would have had to move to write the threat, which confirms that the grease came from their grubby fingers. I broke down the components of the oily substance and found ham, emmental cheese, la sauce bechamel, and egg yolk. All the elements that make up a croque madame sandwich. Which means your killer is into this French comfort food. A croque madame sounds like culinary perfection. Matthew, let's make sure to try one after we've caught the killer. Now the victim's body. Matthew, I have to say, your latest victim had some severely clogged arteries. If he hadn't been stabbed in the heart, it wouldn't have been long before he'd have popped his clogs from a cardiac arrest anyway. Must have been all the guilt from harming baby pandas. Any idea of the kind of knife that was used to stab him? Yes, it was short but sharp, and as we know, size doesn't matter. It's how you use it. Also, I spotted some lubricant around the wound, and not the fun variety. This kind of lube is used to keep scooter engines smooth and slick. Since the traces of lubricant were found in the very spots which your killer would have had to touch to pull out their weapon, they're the ones using a scooter to zip around Paris. Scooter or not, we'll catch up with the killer soon, Matthew. Matthew followed a lead to Montmartre in a bid to stop an animal trafficking racket.
and found a panda smuggler stabbed with a heart. Coincidence? I think not. So far, we met a priest and a caricature artist who were acquainted with Jackson Peacock. Neither seems to have particularly liked him, but that's not surprising. We also found out that the CEO of Stacy's used to rent Peacock's apartment, but he claims never to have met him. The question now is where to investigate next. Matthew, I think I can help with that. Hugo, what's up? I discovered something highly significant about your killer. I'll see you guys for chapter 2. We are back. Let's start chapter 2 of Beastly Behavior. I popped into Enzo's lab just now to borrow some energy pills when I noticed your killer's napkin. The one on which they'd written their threat to the victim? The very one. And I recognize the design because it comes from Oue La Vache, my favorite cafe on Montmartre. My ex-wife and I used to go there all the time. It's on Rue Courtois. Rue Courtois? That's on the same road as our victim's apartment. Matthew, if the napkin came from this cafe, then our killer must have been there too. We need to check it out. Got it. Did you see the menu for this place, Matthew? I got to bring my brother Cody here sometime. That is, if we ever get to meet out in the open without worrying that Antoine Macaron is going to find out. But we should focus on clues for our investigation for now. And this camera could be holding secrets. I agree. Let's unlock it. And look, this is a handbook on exotic pets. Peacock's panda smuggling past makes this guide highly suspect. There's a message written on the front page. We'll need your testing kit to figure it out. We should also see if anything's hiding in this tray of dirty dishes. I agree. Got it. What's this bloody dagger doing under the pile of dirty dishes, Matthew? And more importantly, could it be our murder weapon? Let's get the dagger to Nadia stat. Matthew, the message on the exotic pet handbook says, Jackson, following our little chat, I thought this book might come in handy, Kiki K. So we were right. This handbook is linked to our victim. But wait, Kiki K? Could this be Kiki Kloss, the stylist we met on our first murder investigation in Paris? What was Kloss doing sending animal dyes to our victim? We better ask her. General Matthew, you're looking less of a fashion victim compared to the last time we met. And you're just as pleasant, Miss Kloss. But speaking of victims, we found Jackson Peacock murdered in his apartment. Mais non, another murder? All this violence is enough to make me throw up the croque madame I just ate. Miss Kloss, why did you send Mr. Peacock a handbook on exotic pets? Didn't you know he was a convicted animal smuggler? Mon Dieu, I had no clue. To be honest, I barely knew the man. He messaged me asking for advice on what pets were a la mode. My scooter had a flat tire that day, so I posted him that handbook instead. As the best stylist in Paris, I wasn't surprised that Jackson had consulted me on what was fashionable. I didn't imagine for a second that he could be harming animals. There we go. I got it. Okay, Matthew, now we've unlocked the camera, let's flick through the photos. Look, that's Jackson Peacock, and it looks like he didn't know he was being photographed. Was someone stalking him? There's a selfie of a woman, too. Could she be the camera's owner? We need to identify her in the police database. Harper Stone? So the woman who was sneakily taking photos of our victim is called Harper Stone. Miss Stone had better have some answers for her behavior. Officers, you better have a good reason for bringing me in for questioning. And why'd you confiscate my vegan cheese croque madame? Do you know how hard those are to find in Paris? Miss Stone, please calm down. You're here because you've been taking photos of a murder victim without his knowledge, and Jackson Peacock's been murdered? So you did know the victim? Yeah, I first met Peacock when I was working at a zoo back in the US, but now I'm an animal rights campaigner. And I've been on the hunt for this panda smuggling jerk ever since he got out of jail. Miss Stone, you seem to have a lot of anger towards Mr. Peacock. Yeah, he's pure scum, but if you think I killed him, then you're barking up the wrong tree. I value all life, not just those of animals. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to get back on my scooter and out of this stinky interrogation room. That's gonna do. I'll see you guys. Okay, we have returned. Let's get the results of the bloody dagger right now. Nadia, what did you make of the dagger we found? Well, first off, the blood and gore on it definitely came from your victim, which means you found your murder weapon. As for the dagger itself, its ornate hilt looked familiar. At first, I thought it might have been used as a titillation tool at one of my more violent adult parties. But then I realized its provenance was much more virtuous. You see, it's a replica of a dagger used in Aurélie, that wholesome film from the 90s set in Montmartre. Oh, I love that film. I so wanted to grow up to be Aurélie. That girl is far too insipid for my liking. In any case, this dagger is a collector's item, which means your killer must also be a fan. Well, I suppose being a fan of Aurélie is one thing the killer and I have in common, Matthew. And speaking of the famous Montmartre things, how about we take another look around the Artist Square? Looks like our absent-minded victim dropped his phone here, Matthew. We need to crack its password. And if you think these broken pieces of metal are worth reassembling, then I'll trust your instincts. Let's send the victim's unlocked phone to Emil, Matthew. This is a religious crucifix, Matthew, and it says, "Deliver JP from evil" on it. JP must stand for Jackson Peacock, you're right. Could this message have been written by the priest we met earlier? He knew the victim after all. We need another word with Father Pooch. Pooche. Poos. So not Christopher, I'll go with Pooche. Our Father and all the blessed saints, I thank thee for the glorious existence of Croque Madames. Sorry to interrupt your lunch, Father Pooche, but we have some questions about this cross. Is it yours? How in heaven's name did you chance upon my crucifix? That's not important. What we really want to know is why you wrote "Deliver JP from evil" on it. Because that man was the devil incarnate, General Matthew. Last Sunday after Mass, Mr. Peacock came to me and confessed all the barbaric ways he had treated poor innocent animals. I was utterly horrified and frustrated because, as a priest, I am sworn to secrecy. So instead, I tried to perform a remote exorcism on him using that crucifix, because a person as monstrous as he must have been possessed. But now Jackson Peacock's dead, and I'm the one who needs to confess to being happy about it. May the good Lord forgive me. My gut says no on him. I'll see you guys when the Unlocked phone has run its course. See y'all soon.
We've returned. Let's get the results of the Unlocked phone. Hey Matthew, it's wonderful to see you. And it's wonderful to see you in good spirits, Emil. I heard you were kind of upset after being stood up by your date. Well, Enzo told me that the best way to get over someone is to get under someone else, so to speak. And he was totally right. I started chatting to another girl, and she's just magnifique. That's really cool, but just be careful you don't get hurt again. I will. Anyway, I guess you hear about your victim's phone. One thing I can tell you is that he's obsessed with pandas. He had like 1,000,000 photos of them. Not surprising, knowing his past. Find anything else? Yeah, there was an angry voicemail from one of your suspects. Listen for yourselves. Peacock, you're an A-grade jerk. You could have ruined Stacy's. I cross-referenced the voice, and it's Howard Stacy speaking. Stacy told us he didn't know the victim, yet he's accusing him of almost ruining his company. The business mogul had better come clean, Matthew. General Matthew, please make this quick. I was about to jump on my scooter to go catch a rerun of my favorite movie, Aurelie, at the cinema. And I'm late as it is. We'll take as long as we require, Mr. Stacy. Why did you lie to us about knowing Jackson Peacock? We heard your voice message berating him for almost ruining your department store. Alright, I admit I lied, but I just didn't want to get embroiled in yet another murder investigation. I have a reputation to uphold. As does my store, and that's where Peacock comes in. Fact is, I was in discussions with the man about buying fur for Stacy's next premium winter collection. Peacock assured me that the fur he supplied would be ethically sourced byproducts of the meat industry. General Matthew, did you know they eat rabbit and horse in France? I prefer an inoffensive croque madame myself. Mr. Stacy, please stick to the subject. To my horror, I recently discovered that the fur in question was not kosher at all. It was totally illegal, and Peacock had obtained it in the cruelest of ways. The man could have shut down Stacy's forever, all because of his greed and lack of morals. Well, Mr. Stacy, let's hope we don't find out you shut down Jackson Peacock in return. Matthew, we now know that the victim was a cruel and horrible man. So much so that Father Pucci was driven to perform an exorcism on him. Howard Stacy had his own beef with Jackson Peacock after he discovered that the fur he'd been supplying wasn't ethically sourced. If it were up to me, all fur would be illegal. But anyway, the victim also had business dealings with Kiki Kloss, asking her for advice on popular exotic pets. Then there's Harper Stone, an animal rights activist who'd made it her life's mission to get Peacock back in jail. Whether any of these people murdered the man, only further investigation will tell. General Matthew, I'm glad I caught you. Officer Bonnet, what's up? Someone filed a complaint against your victim. We're going to find out who in Chapter 3, so do not go anywhere. I'll see y'all soon for that. Okay, we are back, and let's start Chapter 3 out. I got a little tired last night, so I couldn't really do it earlier. Matthew, we now know that our victim was a despicable human being. Quite honestly, it's no wonder that someone killed him. General Matthew, I have some important information pertaining to your murder investigation. I was going through the backlog of calls from the public to the Parisian police squad when I came across a complaint made against your victim by one of your suspects. It's Lila Rangwala. She's the one who complained, shortly before Jackson Peacock was murdered. Lila Rangwala, that artist who drew a caricature of the victim? Matthew, we need to ask Miss Rangwala why she made a complaint against Peacock. Miss Rangwala, you told us Jackson Peacock had given you a nice tip and that all was fine. So why'd you file a complaint against him? Oh, General Matthew, it wasn't no tip that he gave me. It was a bloomin' bribe. Peacock gave you a bribe? What for? To keep an eye out for you lot. When I refused, he kicked my scooter and threatened to destroy my stand. I felt as vulnerable as the girl in O'Reilly, General Matthew. I feared for my life. But when you came around asking questions, I panicked and didn't tell you that I made that complaint, just in case you thought I'd killed him. Miss Rangwala, the way Jackson Peacock bullied and threatened you is not acceptable, but I'm afraid it won't hold up as a defense for murder. And speaking of the victim, we better make another sweep of his apartment, General Matthew. that messed me up. The footprint on this rug's too small to be our lumbering victims, Matthew. There's some yellow goo stuck in the print. Taking a sample's probably our best bet at identifying the shoe's owner. And this footstool looks full of Jackson Peacock's belongings. Maybe there'll be a clue hiding in there too. Come on, Matthew. No matter how awful the victim was, we can't let his killer get away with murder. Moment, folks. Okay, I got 4 of the stars. I'll get the 5th a little later. Checkbook. A footstool's a weird place to keep your checkbook, but I guess our victim wasn't a regular guy. It's a long shot, but maybe this checkbook will give us a lead. Let's send it to Emil. Let's put the yellow slush from the footprint under the microscope, Matthew. Vegan cheese. The yellow goo from the footprint is vegan cheese, Matthew. You're right, Harper Stone had mentioned eating a croquet madame made with vegan cheese when we first questioned her. We know the activist had been stalking Jackson Peacock, but now we have proof that she'd been in his apartment. Time to interrogate Miss Stone. Miss Stone, first we find out that you were stalking Jackson Peacock on the street, and now we discover that you'd also snuck into his apartment. Tell us why we shouldn't arrest you here and now for his murder. Look, I told you already I didn't kill Peacock, but I haven't been totally honest about my reasons for hating him. Yes, he was a vile scumbag who was cruel to animals, but my issue with him was more personal. See, the jerk smeared me online, said he saw me wearing a leather jacket. An animal rights activist wearing a leather jacket? Surely not. Of course not. It was faux leather, but the damage had already been done, and I was branded a hypocrite. I lost all credibility within the animal rights community, and it was all Peacock's fault. I even had fake blood thrown at me when I went to watch Aurelia at the cinema the other day. I didn't murder Peacock, but I sure am glad he's dead. Well, just she's still looking good for it, for now. I'll let the checkbook run its course. I'll get the last remaining star in the meantime. So for now, this is Matthew. I'll see you soon. Okay, we have returned. Let's get the results of the victim's checkbook right now. Matthew, the more I learn about love and romance, the more confused I become. You haven't been talking to Nadia by any chance? No, I'm referring to something super bizarre I found on your victim's checkbook. You see, I cross-referenced all the numbers on the stubs of the checks he'd issued. And one of them was a payment he'd made to a website called Sugar Papa. It's a dating site for wealthy old men in search of young girlfriends. Knowing how expensive Paris is, I'm almost tempted to sign up myself. Joking aside, what does Jackson's payment have to do with our investigation, Emile? Well, when I dug deeper into the payment, I saw that it had been made to a woman whose username was Kiki Style. Kiki Style? As in Kiki Kloss, the stylist? But she told us that her dealings with Jackson Peacock were purely business. This transaction on Sugar Papa paints a totally different picture. We better have another word with Miss Kloss, Matthew. And now let's talk to Kiki Kloss. Miss Kloss, why did you lie to us about your relationship with Jackson Peacock? We know he was your sugar daddy. Well, would you reveal such a thing to anyone? Obviously, I was embarrassed about it. What's even worse was that he wasn't even a very good, provider. I have expensive tastes, and he wasn't meeting my needs. And let me tell you, I am no saint like Aurelie, but some of his needs were downright disgusting. But when I wanted to stop our relationship, Jackson got mad and demanded I return his money, but I'd already spent it all on a vintage Shior coat. I hope for your sake that you didn't murder Jackson Peacock to end all this, Miss Kloss. Well, Matthew, if our victim had any redeeming qualities, I haven't seen them so far. We've now discovered that Jackson Peacock was a demanding sugar daddy to Kiki Kloss. I dread to think what he asked her for in return for money. Peacock also threatened Lila Rangwala with violence after she refused to keep an eye out for the cops for him. As for Harper Stone, turns out the victim made her lose her reputation within the animal rights community. All these people had valid reason to murder Jackson Peacock, and we need just a bit more proof to find out who it was. Let's take a final look on the street outside the cafe where the killer liked to hang out. being unresponsive. Got that. Now I see the flash. All right. This is a canister of scooter lubricant, Matthew. It's got to belong to our scooter driving killer. We should scoop up some of those fibers left on it. And we better put this broken piece of jewelry back together. Wait a minute, I'm gonna refresh. Alright, now let's see how we do here. Got it. Let's move these fibers from the scooter lube can straight to Enzo, Matthew. I'd have to make another part. Okay. Got that started. Go. This bloodstained peacock brooch has got our victim's initials on the back. The killer must have ripped it off Jackson Peacock and disposed of it here after murdering him. We have to get this brooch to Enzo right away. I'm gonna get some more stars after this. I'll have all of them collected by then. So for now, until these two have run their courses, I'll be back again. So this is Matthew. Catch you later. Alright, we have returned. Let's get the results of the black fibers. First of these two analyses and put a killer behind bars. I really gotta cut my hair pretty soon. You know, Matthew, I had a scooter once until an ex-girlfriend smashed it up with a crowbar after a minor misunderstanding. Haha, I'm sure you weren't to blame at all, right, Enzo? Anyway, unlike you, our killer still owns a two-wheeler. Did the black fibers from the can of lubricant we found shed any light on them? Well, first off, I found traces of Croquet Madame in the fibers, which means the lubricant definitely belongs to your killer. Secondly, the fibers are strands of hair, confirming that your killer has black hair. So our killer's hair is as black as the prison cell we'll soon be throwing them in, Matthew. Enzo, please tell us you found out something useful from the victim's brooch. They don't call me the best forensic expert in Paris for nothing, ma belle. To begin with, the blood on it matches Jackson Peacock's, so your hunch that the killer pulled it off him after the murder was correct. Aside from the blood, I noticed a mix of rubbing alcohol and rose water left on the brooch. This is the perfect combination for cleaning earrings without irritating your sensitive ear area. Nadia confirmed that your killer had no ear piercings, so it's gotta be your killer who likes to keep their earrings nice and shiny. Clean earrings will be the least of the killer's worries when we arrest them, Matthew. Matthew, handcuffs at the ready? Then let's go arrest Jackson Peacock's killer. Excuse me. Certainly not Lila Rangwala. And, oh, it's not Howard Stacy. What a surprise. Wouldn't you know it? Kloss, we're placing you under arrest for the murder of Jackson Peacock. You have the right to remain silent. You expect me to remain silent after such a heinous accusation? Calban d'imbéciles? If we're such imbeciles, then how do we figure out that you stabbed Peacock using a collector's item dagger? A dagger that you discarded at your favorite Au La Vache cafe? And the scooter you drove to his apartment on what must be well oiled, since we found traces of your engine lubricant all over his wounds. But what we don't understand is what drove you to rip off your victim's brooch and smash it to pieces after murdering him. Because that despicable man humiliated me. You mean with all that sugar daddy business? Oh, that was just the beginning, General Matthew. Soon after we met on the Sugar Papa website, Jackson told me he needed a spousal visa so he could live and work in France. So he made me an offer. He said he'd look after me financially in exchange for a marriage of convenience. I wasn't going to say no to his money, so I agreed. But as soon as he got his visa, Jackson dumped me and filed for divorce. A divorcee at 32? Can you imagine anything more shameful? But surely if he divorced you, he'd have lost his visa. He told me he managed to bribe the right people within the immigration department by that point, so nothing would have happened to him. Anyway, I got so frustrated that I went to Jackson's apartment to give him a piece of my mind, but he just laughed and told me to stop acting like a spoiled puppy. So in a fit of rage, I took my dagger out of my purse and, before I knew it, I stabbed him straight through the heart. And I'm afraid that you're now going straight into custody, Miss Kloss. Kiki Kloss, you stand before the court accused of the murder of Jackson Peacock. How do you plead? Guilty, Your Honor, but I rid the world of a cruel and violent man. Surely that counts for something. Yes, I've heard of Mr. Peacock's unsavory past. But today we must focus solely on the case at hand, namely that you killed him in a fit of rage after he wanted to divorce you. Oui, but what about the fact that he only married me in the first place to get a visa? That was also illegal, yes, and we shall be looking into the individuals concerned, but it does not justify you murdering him. Kiki Kloss, the court sentences you to 12 years in prison. Does that mean I'll have to wear a yucky prison uniform? Quel horreur! Something that Armand Dupont would say. Matthew, I know we should never condone murder, but I can't help but be pleased that Kiki Kloss saved the world from suffering at the hands of Jackson Peacock. Speaking of which, we know Peacock's apartment is linked to the animal smuggling ring currently operating in Montmartre. Which means next on the agenda is saving the animals of Paris. I'll see you guys for a walk on the Wild Side 2-5. Okay, we're back. Let's start walk on the Wild Side 2-5. Sorry about that, guys. Matthew, the empty animal crate from the Popotin Rouge led us to Jackson Peacock's apartment in Montmartre. And now that we've solved his murder, we can turn our attention back to uncovering Montmartre's animal smuggling ring. We haven't seen any sign of smuggling for now, but I'll bet there's something hiding in the property. Matthew, could I talk to you and Enzo when you have a minute? Sure, Emile. Matthew will be right with you once you get back from Peacock's apartment. Little tired, but Nothing I can't handle. Matthew, I can hear meowing coming from that sack. There must be some animals in there. Let's crack that lock and release the poor creatures, quick. Oh my god, Matthew, these are cheetah cubs. The crate from the Popotan Rouge was used to transport a baby cheetah too, so this makes sense. Now we have definite proof that animal smuggling is taking place in the area, and we're talking exotic animals that aren't native to France. The poor kitties look malnourished as hell. You're right, the first thing we need to do is nurse them back to health. Nadia will know what to do. Matthew, I'm really sorry to bother you, but you've been so helpful in the past with my love life. Ah, matter of the heart, my favorite kind of dilemma. Well, you see, I'm finally having a date with Law Girl 21, the awesome woman I've been chatting to online. And I really want to impress her with a gift, but I have no idea what to buy. This cannot be too difficult, Emile. Tell us, what does she like? She's into games like puzzles. Oh, and she adores Montmartre. In fact, that's where we're meeting, at the Au La Vache Cafe to be precise. Isn't that the cafe that your latest killer liked to frequent, Matthew? Looks like it's a popular place. And what's that, Matthew? If Law Girl 21 likes Montmartre, then we should go and ask that caricature artist you met during your investigation for help finding a suitable gift. Alright, let's go pick Lila Rangwala's brains, Matthew. Hello again, General Matthew. Told you I didn't kill Mr. Peacock. Now how's about you finally letting me draw you? I don't usually say no to a portrait of my beautiful face, but I'm afraid we have more pressing matters to attend to, mademoiselle. You see, our friend Emile here is in need of a Montmartre-themed gift to impress his new lady friend. A puzzle would be ideal. Oh, I have the perfect thing. It's a pretty jigsaw I made of Montmartre. I tell you what, if you can piece it together, I'll let you have it for free. You are too kind, Mademoiselle Rangwala. Come on, Matthew. Let's grab that jigsaw from Lila's stand, and let's look sexy while we're doing it. This looks like the jigsaw puzzle the artist lady mentioned, Matthew. I'm sure you'll solve it in no time. Got it. Matthew, thank you so much for solving the jigsaw puzzle for me. And the nice artist lady gave it to us for free, so you'll have more money to spend on wining and dining your date. About that, I'm getting kind of nervous about the whole thing. You guys couldn't come and scout out the cafe with me, could you? Well, it is just around the corner, no? On y va. Emile, you were right. This adorable cafe terrace is just perfect for a first date. Yes, but what if Law Girl 21 doesn't show up? Just like the last girl I met online. I'm not sure I could take another rejection. Mon Dieu, Matthew, Emile's fainted. We need to pick him up off the street, quick. over Emil. He was so stressed about his date tonight that he fainted. I'm gonna take the poor boy back to my lab and get him back on form. Meet me back there in a bit, Matthew. Oh boy. Sure hope Emil's gonna be okay. And we'll find out how Emil will feel after this, and as well as the baby cheetahs. So I'll see you when these two have run their courses, which will likely be tomorrow morning. I'll see you soon.
Hey everyone, I'm back again. Let's get the results of the baby cheetahs first. Matthew, I'm so mad at you. Why, Nadia? What's up? Why did you send me these adorable balls of fluff? They've changed my stance on wearing fur forever. How will I ever look fashionable again? Haha, the animal world will be happy to hear this. And the cheetahs look much better than when we found them. Yes, I gave them a good clean and dosed them up with a cocktail of vitamins and nutrients. It almost brought about my maternal instincts. Almost. But what do we do with the cubs now? They're not going to stay this small for long, and cheetahs are wild animals. Good idea, Matthew. Harper still knows everything about animal welfare. We should ask her how to get the little cuties to safety. Harper, we found a sack of baby cheetahs in Jackson Peacock's apartment, and... Oh, that man was just one vile bat. Yes, we hate him too. But more importantly, we need to figure out what to do with the animals now. Can you help? I know of a zoo just outside Paris which looks after exotic animals rescued from circuses and stuff, and prepares them for release back into the wild. That sounds perfect. Listen, I'd be happy to take the cheetahs off your hands and get them to the zoo, but I'd like something in return. See, Peacock had taken down all the anti-animal cruelty posters I put up around Montmartre, and I saw them thrown in his trash can when I, broke into his apartment. Can you go get them for me? That doesn't seem too big an ask, Harper. Come on, Matthew, time to pay the apartment another visit, and let's grab a snack on the way. fish Harper's posters out of the waste paper basket. These posters from the garbage say stop animal cruelty on them. They've got to be the ones Harper was talking about. Let's hand the posters back to Harper. Here are your posters, Harper. Almost as good as new. Thank you so much, General Matthew. You have no idea how expensive printing costs are these days. By the way, there's something I forgot to mention to you guys earlier. While I was following Jackson Peacock around, I noticed that he made multiple visits to the Le Voyeur Peep Show down in Pigalle. Okay, that's kind of sleazy, but I don't know how it concerns us. But that's the thing, he'd go in a lot, but he never actually watched the shows. This makes me suspect that there are underhanded dealings going on at the venue. You should check it out. That does sound weird. Thanks for the tip, Harper. And before I decide to keep them for myself, here are the baby cheetahs. They're adorable. I'll make sure they get to the zoo safely. Thank you, and please take this money as a donation to the zoo. Now let's check out Emil. Hey Matthew, so sorry you had to witness my panic attack earlier. Not my proudest moment. Don't be so hard on yourself, mon ami. Stressing out over a girl happens to all of us, even me. Somehow I doubt that has ever happened to you, Enzo. Anyway, Matthew, Enzo here gave me a pep talk and dosed me up on Spanax, so I think I'm finally ready for my date at Olavash with Law Girl 21. Yes, you are, Emil, but Matthew, I think it would still be useful for you to accompany him to the cafe for moral support. Matthew, I think I see her. I think that's the back of her head. Law Girl 21, Clementine. It's me, Tectonic 101. Emil, so good to finally meet. Wait, is that you, Matthew? What are you doing here? You know each other? Matthew works with me. That must mean you also work with my ex-husband, Hugo Mercier. Mon Dieu, you're Hugo's Clementine? Judge Lebrun? Yes, and you must be Emil, the tech expert at the precinct. Hugo was always singing your praises. Listen, Emil, you seem like a lovely person, and I was so looking forward to getting to know you more, but I just don't think this is a good idea. You're definitely right. Hugo will be horrified if we started dating. I hope we can stay friends at least. Matthew, I guess I'll be seeing you in the courtroom soon. Salute, Matthew. Did you manage to make any progress on the animal trafficking investigation? Well, Harper Stone thinks that our animal smuggling victim was potentially involved in some dodgy dealings in connection with a certain peep show in Pigalle. Apparently, Jackson Peacock used to go there, but never actually watched any of the dancers. This implies that maybe his business there involved animal trafficking. If that's true, the smuggling racket goes beyond Montmartre. Then we had better go check out this establishment. Speaking of sexy women, Emile, how did your hot date go? Hugo, I don't know how to tell you this, but my date turned out to be your ex-wife. Quoi? You went on a date with Clementine? I had no idea it was her, I swear. I never met her before, so how would I have known? And we ended the date as soon as we found out. Matthew can vouch for me. I won't blame you for this. Clementine is a catch after all. But what upsets me more is that she's already using a dating application, which means she has most definitely moved on from me. Oh, Hugo, I can tell you it's clear that she still cares about you very much. Well, I'll drown my sorrows tonight in an expensive bottle of Bordeaux. Tomorrow we'll head to Pigalle to hunt down some more animal smugglers. For the record, I wouldn't have thought that was Clementine also. So I'll see you guys for the next case on September 17th. That's in 10 days. But first I have sticker packs to open. Alright. Okay, that's gonna do. And in the meantime, I'll be seeing you guys on September 17th. So I'll see you all then. So for now, this is Matthew. Thank you for watching another case in Paris, City of Romance.